To Prime Minister Modi.
Good morning, Houston.
Prime Minister Modi, my friend.
The great American president, Mr. Donald Trump.
Welcome back to this continuous coverage on WION. So this, of course, was the mega Howdy Modi event that played out in the city of Houston in Texas. And as Narendra Modi, of course, described it, it was not just history in the making, it was also chemistry in the making. And this was Prime Minister Modi endorsing Trump for a second term as the President of the United States. And US President Donald Trump also did not hold back from lauding Narendra Modi's exceptional work for India. Now, calling Prime Minister Modi America's most devoted and loyal friend, President Trump assured that the United States was committed to fighting radical Islamic terrorism. And this was, of course, the comment which drew the biggest applause from the gathering there. He also emphasized on the importance of countering illegal immigration into the United States and spoke extensively about the importance of border security. Listen it.
Today we honor all of the brave American and Indian military service members who work together to safeguard our freedom. We stand proudly in defense of liberty, and we are committed to protecting innocent civilians from the threat of radical Islamic terrorism.
And also reaffirming that the relationship between India and the United States is now stronger than ever before in the past. From the days of non-alignment, this is what we've now come to. Trump said that India can never have a better friend than him at the White House. Listen in.
This day, I'm happy to report that the relationship between the United States and India is stronger than ever before. The ties between our two nations are grounded in our common values and our shared commitment to democracy. We are free nations with great faith and a fierce devotion to our national independence. We are governed by the rule of law, guided by commitment to justice, and strengthened by our love of liberty. Our two national constitutions both begin with the same three beautiful words: we the people. If we were elected, India would have a true and great friend in the White House, and I can tell you, you have never had a better friend as president than President Donald Trump. That I can tell you.
All right, so that was President Donald Trump there reaffirming the important relationship between India and the United States and saying that India hasn't got a better friend than him at the White House. Now, the Howdy Modi event may just turn out to be the biggest highlight of Prime Minister Modi's political career. Let's take a look at the big takeaways from this very important speech by Narendra Modi at the NRG Stadium, the largest stadium in the state of Texas. Now, firstly, in his second term, Prime Minister Modi may be more confident and more decisive than ever before. But that, of course, does not take away the fact that he remains to be a very, very popular leader across India. Despite the many shortcomings, he has got the complete support of the people of India. And this, of course, could be seen by the way he stressed on the people-centric issues, such as sanitation, gas connections that his government has worked very hard on through the Ujjwala schemes. Now, passports and something that the former foreign minister had worked extensively, and data affordability was something that had been pushed by him during his first tenure as Make India a Digital Economy. Now, of course, making a strong pitch for potential investors, the Prime Minister referred to the cheap cost of mobile data in the country and the increasing use of digital technology to set up businesses. that these are subjects that many leaders would avoid raising on a global stage. Secondly, the positive theme of his speech was, of course, from progress to possibilities and welfare. The Prime Minister's speech was full of hope, and he's repeatedly stressed on the idea of a new India, which he said was his government's biggest oath at the moment, and he and his government were working very hard to realize the dream of bringing in and ushering in a new India. Thirdly, the Prime Minister also made a strong case for one India in the presence of US President Donald Trump. He was not looking to claim credit for any of his government's decisions, a fact that was proven when he urged the 50,000-strong crowd at the NRG Stadium for a standing ovation to all parliamentarians, whether they be of the government or of the opposition, who had voted in favour of deoperationalising Article 370. This gesture, of course, goes on to prove that whatever the differences there may be between the government and the opposition back home, the Prime Minister would not let that affect India's image globally. Now, fourthly, he's also, in many ways, spoken about Pakistan and Imran Khan and the terror that emanates from that country without naming the country even once. And this, of course, he's done so for a second time. Firstly, in Russia, right next to President Vladimir Putin, and now in the United States with Donald Trump, who was there on the stage with him. And also a battery of US government officials were also present. There were senators both from the red and the blue parties, the Republicans and the Democrats. They had come, many of them very prominent ones, to attend this all-crucial event, Howdy Modi. Now, the Prime Minister also did not shy away from calling out Pakistan-sponsored terror in front of the world leaders, and he has proven that when it comes to terror and India's security, there cannot be any compromise under any circumstances. And lastly, his confident leadership was, of course, on full display at the event. He stood shoulder to shoulder with the US President, the leader of a formidable and the largest economy in the world. Now, the Prime Minister's speech and also the rapturous welcome that he received from these teeming Indians or Indian Americans at the NRG Stadium is a testimony to the fact that India does not bother with incremental changes, but is rather pushing for a comprehensive change. And my colleague Siddhant Sibil has been tracking the developments very closely.